Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to learn the chapter Development of Class 10th Economics. This is not only meant for the central boards but also for other state boards which are using this NCERT textbook of Class 10th Economics. Here page number 3 onwards it is starting the chapter Development, and therefore we can learn the meaning of development and what are the other goals which are or other considerations by which we learn the concept of development. And the main theme of this chapter is what is the meaning of economic development, and secondly different people who are having different goals, then income and other goals, national development, how to compare different countries and states, income and other criteria, public facilities, sustainability of development. Here we will discuss this complete lesson in two parts, part 1 and part 2. So in this we will learn the part 1 about 50% of this chapter, then the balance we will discuss in the part 2. What is the meaning of economic development? We know there are different explanations of the concept of economic development. People will say when the income increases, when the standard of living increases, then we can say that there is economic development. So the basic meaning, if there is a long term increase in the real per capita GDP and as a consequence improvement in the standard of living of the people, then we say that there is economic development. What is meant by per capita income or per capita GDP? The gross domestic product of the country divided by the population, we will get the per capita GDP. Already in our previous classes we have learned what is the meaning of GDP, the sum total of the money value of all final goods and services produced in a country during a financial year, calculated at base year prices, we say real GDP. This real GDP divided by the population, we will get per capita GDP, or national income divided by the population, we will get the per capita income. So if there is long term increase in the real per capita GDP and thereby improvement in the standard of living of the people, then we say that there is economic development. It is concerned with the improvement in the quality of life of the people, their capabilities, their nourishment, literacy, education, gender equality, healthcare facilities, housing facilities, etc. Therefore, economic development does not merely confine to the concept of per capita GDP. There are certain other considerations, other bases also for calculating or for understanding the concept of economic development, the capability of the people, their social equality, social security, their education, healthcare facilities, their self-confidence, housing facilities, all these are different considerations of economic development. Now different people have different goals. See, I am a teacher and I have achieved this level, but I have certain other goals also. I want to become a higher officer in education. That is my goal. On the other hand, if a teacher he was qualified but not got any employment in any school, then his or her objective will be to become a teacher, a regular employment, a regular teacher. Then for a farmer, his purpose will be, his development goal will be to get a good crop and thereby good income for his crops, etc. On the other hand, an landless agricultural laborer, his development goal will be to get a regular agricultural employment. So there are different categories of people and thereby their development goal will also be different. For example, here there are an example given in our NCERT textbook. It is I have prepared like a presentation. For landless rural laborers, more days of work, better wages, quality of education, social equality, etc. Quality education, social equality, etc. That is a landless rural laborer, his objective or developmental goal. Then prosperous farmers from Punjab, a second example is given. They are prosperous farmers, different categories of farmers are there. Rich farmers having lot of land, and now what is their objective? High support price for their crops. Support price given by the, or floor price given by the government, that must be increased so that their income will be increased again. Then cheap laborers, so that they can reduce the cost of agriculture production, enough water for the crops, sending children abroad, their children to get better education abroad. These are their goals. So different people have different development goals. Farmers who depend on rain, sufficient and timely rainfall, artificial irrigation, etc. That is their objective. A rural woman from a land owning family, better opportunities of education and employment. Urban unemployed youth, his objective is a government job and highly paid employment opportunities. A boy from a rich urban family, opportunity to study and work abroad, that will be his developmental goal. A girl from a rich urban family, equal freedom as brother and decision making power, study abroad, this will be the development goal of a girl from a rich urban family. An Adivasi from Narmada Valley, survival at native place, that is his or her developmental objective. Rights to forest products also. So different people will have different development goals, and more than that, the development goal of a particular person will be detrimental or destructive for another person. For example, a rich man, he is constructing a big house, at the same time his neighbor, he'll be a poor man, and all the dust and waste particles will be flown to the land of the neighbor, or he may have some suffocation or air due to air pollution, etc. So the development goal of one person will be detrimental or destructive for another person also. Different people have different development goals. Same way, different countries also will have different development goals. An economically backward African country, their objective may be to better standard of living of their people, eradication of poverty, 3 times meal regularly, better education, at least a minimum education for the children of that country. That will be their development goal. On the other hand, a developed country like America, their objective will be to get more and more power at international level. Income and other goals. Development means not only higher income and more consumption, but other goals or factors also. Already I told, per capita improvement in the per capita, real per capita GDP or real per capita income will be one of the factors. There are certain other considerations also. Equal treatment in the society. There must be social and economic equality. There must be gender equality. Then freedom of speech and expression, moving from one place to another. Then social security for all the people. Social security schemes by the government. There must be coverage for all the people. Social security coverage. Respect for others. Dignity of women. Dignity of labor. All these must be there. Then working atmosphere. Better working conditions. Safe working conditions. And also there must be security of employment. There must be food and drinking water facility. There must be playing facility. There must be care facility for the care of their small children, like that. Better working atmosphere. Then opportunity to learn. While doing the job, while doing any work, there must be opportunity to learn so that they can improve their standard of living. So these are also must be there. These are the other goals or factors which are different considerations which contributes towards development. Then quality of life depends on material things and the above mentioned non-material or non-measurable things also. Then what is the meaning of national development? If the individuals have different goals, then their notion of national development will also be different. Already we have discussed that different people will have different development goals. Same way, at national level, at international level also, different countries will have different development goals. Different persons could have different as well as conflicting notions of a country's development. How to decide between these conflicting goals? What would be a fair and just path for all? National development considers all this. So if the individuals have different goals, then their notion of national development will also be different. A farmer's developmental goal will not be the development goal of an employed person. That may not be the development goal of a rich agricultural farmer. And this development goal may not be the development goal of an industrialist. So the notion of national development will also be different depending on the development goal of different people. Now we will discuss how to compare the different countries or different states within a country. we have already discussed that per capita income is an indicator of economic development, per capita income or per capita GDP. What is per capita income? It is only an average income, national income divided by the population. And per capita GDP, gross domestic product divided by the population. But it is only an average, and averages are having certain limitations that we will discuss. Now, based on this per capita income of World Development Report, those countries which are having $12,056 and above are called rich countries, and those with per capita income of $955 and less are called as the low income countries. And India's per capita income in US dollars is 1,820 in 2017. So India is coming in the middle income countries. So these are only average income or per capita income. Those countries which are having $12,056 and above are called as rich countries, and those countries $955 and less they will be called as low income countries, and India is coming in the middle level. Now, what are the limitations of this average income or per capita income? We know that per capita income or per capita GDP is only an average. Whatever is the average, total divided by the number. Here, those people in India, $955 we are telling as India's per capita income, but there may be people who are having $10 or less than that as per capita income, and there may be people who are having more than $900 as per capita income. So it is only an average. It does not say about the distribution of income between the different people. And rise in income, another thing, rise in income or GDP will be due to the rise in prices or due to inflation also, and there may not be real growth in output. So these are the limitations of using per capita income or per capita GDP as an indicator of economic development. And there are certain other criteria also. Due to these limitations of the per capita income or per capita GDP as an indicator of economic development, there are certain other criteria also, like this social security, dignity of the labor, dignity of women, and equal treatment or gender equality, and the freedom and also self-respect, job security. These are different other goals than income as the conditions of economic development. Now we can make a comparison here between the three states based on certain considerations. First, in table 1.4 we can see Haryana's per capita income in 2015-2016 is 1,62,034 rupees, whereas Kerala 1,40,190 rupees and Bihar only 31,454 rupees. So based on this per capita income of 2015-16, based on the data available by the Economic Survey of the Government of India, here Haryana is having 1,62,034 rupees per capita income. Among all these states, we can say Haryana is economically developed based on the per capita income. Kerala is only coming secondly. Now we see table 1.4, certain demographic comparative data of these same three states. The state of Haryana's infant mortality rate per live birth is 33. Infant mortality rate, out of 1,000 live birth, how many children die before celebrating the first birthday? We say the infant mortality rate. In Haryana it is 33, but Kerala only 10, and Bihar 38. It is also high. Infant mortality rate, it is a negative indicator, that must be low. Whereas literacy rate, then net attendance ratio, etc. are positive indicators. This must be high. Coming to literacy rate, that is a percentage of the people above 7 years, 7 years and above age who know reading and writing. In Haryana it is 82 only, 82%, whereas in Kerala it is 94% literacy rate. In Bihar it is 62 only. Now we compare table this column number 2 and column number 3. In Haryana it is 33 the infant mortality rate. Kerala infant mortality rate is 10 only, means infant mortality rate must be low for economic development. Whereas literacy rate, that must be high, it is a positive indicator, must be high. Kerala is having 94, high literacy rate. Then third, coming to net attendance ratio per 100 persons age 14 years and 15 years who are going to school. Only these two category, 14 years and 15 years, out of how many children, how many people are going to school? All the children may not be going to school. That ratio is 61 in Haryana. In Kerala it is 83, means it is high. In Bihar only 43. So the positive indicators of literacy rate and net attendance ratio is high in Kerala compared to other states. And when we come to the first one, infant mortality rate, it is a negative indicator. In Kerala it is only 10, means it is an achievement. Now we compare table 1.3 and table 1.4. Here in table 1.3, based on the per capita income, Haryana is developed, but Kerala is coming secondary only. When we consider other considerations or other goals also, Kerala is above Haryana in column number table 1.4, column number 2, 3 and 4. So based on these two tables, when we compare, we can say that Kerala is more developed than Haryana based on income and also other goals. I think the concept is clear. The infant mortality rate, it is a negative indicator, that must be low. Literacy rate, net attendance rate, this must be high. So in Kerala, infant mortality rate is the lowest at the international level. It is also 10 less than the developed countries also. And literacy rate is high or more than that of Haryana in literacy rate and also net attendance ratio. So when we come, when these two states or these two tables, we can say that Kerala is more developed than Haryana compared to other states. As per table 1.3, since per capita income of Haryana is more than that of Kerala, Haryana is more developed than Kerala. However, as per table 1.4, Kerala has lower infant mortality rate, higher literacy rate and higher net attendance ratio compared to Haryana. Therefore, Kerala is more developed than Haryana. Now, the other areas we will discuss in our next session. I think the first part of this lesson, this much is clear. Thank you. We will come with a new video of the second part.